Hello guys, it's John here again, and in this video it's dedicated to Ozzy Osbourne, who recently passed. I was very shocked, just couldn't believe it. Obviously we all know that he has been ill for a long time, and obviously it was just awful to hear the news, obviously, and everybody around the world who's an Aussie fan out there, if you're watching, is going to be deeply saddened. It's taken me, well, a while to even think about doing this video. I've seen other videos that people have done online, and yeah, they did it on the day that he died, and I was too upset to even do it. And I've never met Ozzy Osbourne, so I don't, have that friendship or a member of his family or anything like that. But when you are a true fan, it hits you in a different way. Well, yeah. And I've been a fan since the No More Tears era. And I loved Black Sabbath as well, and I used to listen to all the Ozzy, the first, was it, I think it was the first six albums, or was it the first four? No, it was the first five, I think it was, or six, yeah. It was, there's, I don't own it anymore. That's why I can't remember if it's six. I think it is six. There was not Never Say Die album or the Technical Ecstasy album on this compilation that I had, and it was the Ozzy Osbourne years. You'll see it. It's in a green box, 3 CDs, and it's got the first albums except for the last two, which I found kind of strange. But yeah, I do not own that anymore, and I wish I kept it. I've been hunting for a copy of it for quite a few years now. They're always so expensive, so I'd never really purchased one. So, but this is how I discovered Ozzy. So we had this program called Raw Power on UK TV back in the day, early 90s. I think it might have been on in the late 80s as well. Certainly early 90s. And there was this guy come on, Ozzy Osbourne, never heard of him before. And he was being interviewed, and he was, the song No More Tears was being advertised. They showed the video, and I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? This is awesome. And I'm assuming whoever, everybody else has had that feeling about him as well, because he had that sort of like charisma, and he was a very likable guy, and a bit mad and crazy. And in the way, obviously his stage presence and what he did on stage, and he sort of made my boring life seem really sort of like changed. And I was like, I got well into Ozzy, and he was one of my idols. I kind of lost that though, for a time. Not that he wasn't somebody that I liked. It was when he did that TV show. You look up to somebody, eh? It's like your idol is, you look up to him. And when he did this TV show, and I just thought, oh no, I don't really. This has like ruined the mysticism of Ozzy Osbourne for me. But he was still a funny, crazy guy. So in that, but really, what you wanted to do was just tell Ozzy, right, tell your kids they're little brats, and to know. he obviously didn't treat his kids like that. So, but yeah, Ozzy was a huge part of my life from about the age of 15, and I'm now 49. And yeah, where's the time gone? Don't know. And I have loads of CDs and loads of cassettes, video VHSs, and books on Ozzy, and records, single records, all sorts. I can't show you it all at the moment, and I'm not going to show it because this is not about my collection. This is about Ozzy Osbourne and what it meant in your life. So let me know if you've made a video that I might not have seen. I will show a few things in the background, and I'm going to show, I've got a couple of tour programs here, and well, one up there, the Bark of the Moon one, which I'll just show you quickly with it. Oh, wrong way, is up there, the Bark of the Moon VHS and the Ultimate Sin VHS, and I've got loads of DVDs as well of Ozzy. There's No Rest for the Wicked. That No Rest for the Wicked is probably one of my favourites, as well as Diary of a Madman. Certainly No Rest for the Wicked, because it's got Zakk Wylde, who I named my first child Zakk, and there it is, cool album. I've got 2 copies of that. One's put away. My favourite with Randy would be Diary of a Madman, just there. My favourite with Jakey Lee, that's really hard because he was an awesome guitarist as well. But I'm probably going to go with The Ultimate Sin, even though that isn't a killer album. Ozzy always did killer albums in the 80s, and obviously No More Tears in the 90s. Sort of my interest after Osmosis sort of waned a bit, and I'm not going to tell lies and go, oh yeah, I'm the biggest fan in the world and I loved everything, and I didn't. There was certain things I didn't like with Ozzy, some of Ozzy's stuff, and that was the later stuff. But yeah, certainly the 80s and Black Sabbath, I loved it. Absolutely killer, the Black Sabbath of the 70s with Ozzy. And so the first one I ever owned, which I never bought any vinyl at that stage in the 90s. The first thing I ever owned was a CD of The Ultimate Sin, because it was quite cheap at the time. And I bought that. And then the next one I bought was Just Say Ozzy. This was about £5 on CD at the time, which was it's £5.30 it was, and I still have that CD, and I still have my very first The Ultimate Sin album on CD, and I've got a couple of copies spare as well. And then I started on with No More Tears. Then I got the Diary of the Madman album just after that, and Bark at the Moon as well. And those were the 2, Diary of a Madman and Bark at the Moon, that I used to listen to a lot, as well as No More Tears. This one not so much, and I kind of had listened to The Ultimate Sin quite a bit until I could afford to buy the next record, which was obviously that. And then a bit later on, I went out and bought the Tribute on CD. I do have that on cassette, and a few others on cassette. And then the Blizzard of Oz, funnily enough, was probably one of the last albums of Ozzy's earlier career that I got, just because I couldn't find a copy where I live, and one of the guys I knew, he had a cassette of it, and I listened to it, and I thought, I've got to get hold of that for sure. It was really awesome. On Talk of the Devil, I did get that. I always thought that it was actually just I thought that was actually pretty good when I got it, but I don't know. I'm not really that keen on that anymore. Some of the songs are alright, but it's not too bad. But it's Brad Gillis. If it had been Jakey Lee, if there had been a live one with Jakey Lee, that would have been absolutely killer. or Randy, obviously. But yeah, not Brad Gillis. But yeah, in my collection, yeah, you've got things like that. Those are different, by the way. They are slightly different. But there's so much cool stuff out there for Ozzy, and it's such a shame that he has passed away. But he is now resting in peace, and no more pain. And he led a crazy life, and he's done a lot more than most people will ever do in, say, 10 lifetimes. So rest in peace, Ozzy, and hopefully you're up there playing with Randy Rhoads and Randy Castillo as well. We always forget about Randy sometimes, but yeah, and and your mum and dad, Ozzy. If you see this on YouTube, which you're not going to, because you're playing up there with those guys. Right, I've got to go. Let me know if you want to see any more in-depth Ozzy videos, because then you'll need to go and watch somebody else's channel. This is just to show you my experience, but it's been great listening to Ozzy. I was listening to Ozzy before he passed away. I listened to it for a few weeks, and I was like, the songs are just absolutely killer. And I take them out, I put them away, and then they come out a bit later on, and too much music to listen to. But yeah, that is all killer stuff. So if you're just starting out, go and buy those albums I showed you first, because they are the best ones. And cheers for watching. Keep rocking, listen to whatever it is you listen to, especially if it's Ozzy. And see you in the next video. Cheers.